We found that the Phoenix Police Department and the City of Phoenix engage in a pattern or practice of using excessive force, unlawfully detaining, ticketing, and arresting homeless people, discriminating against Black, Hispanic, and Indigenous people in its policing enforcement.
Those are the allegations against the Phoenix Police Department after a multiple years long investigation by the Department of Justice. We've been combing through the report since it was first released this morning. 12 News journalist Bianca Bono is live outside the Phoenix Police Department tonight with details on the DOJ's findings when it comes to use of force. Bianca?
Mark, the Phoenix Police Department received the report the same time the general public did today. The first finding listed that the Phoenix Police Department uses excessive force, including unjustified deadly force. The DOJ listed out a number of incidents allegedly showing that. A bombshell report detailing the U.S. Department of Justice's years-long investigation into the Phoenix Police Department, concluding the department engages in a pattern or practice of conduct that deprives people of their rights.
The report itself wasn't necessarily surprising.
That's because a case attorney Kwesi Smith litigated is detailed as an example of Phoenix PD's use of excessive force.
This is clearly not an incident that required the use of excessive force.
In September of 2022, police reported seeing 34-year-old Ali Osman throwing rocks at their patrol cars, calling in a request for a non-lethal stun bag to assist. But as the DOJ report notes, they didn't wait. Instead, officers approached Osman, ultimately shooting and killing him. An officer was terminated earlier this year for his role in the shooting.
If you would have just waited and used some restraint, if a supervisor would have been listening, Mr. Osman would still be alive.
Another case in the report, the shooting death of Jacob Harris in 2019, who was shot in the back while running away. The report notes it's an example of police unreasonably delaying rendering aid to someone they have shot.
For 9 minutes, officers failed to provide medical aid.
It's something Jacob's father could not comprehend.
They wanted him to die.
The report also alleges a departmental failure to adequately discipline officers who engage in misconduct, writing, even when discipline is issued, it may be reversed. Ryan Whitaker was shot and killed after answering the door of his apartment with a gun in his hand, even after putting it down and following commands. It resulted in a $3 million settlement for Whitaker's family, but the officer who shot him was terminated, then reinstated.
The department is either in process or has already implemented several significant reforms.
Daryl Kriplin, president of the Phoenix Law Enforcement Association, says changes have already been in the works, referring to Phoenix PD's 53-page Road to Reform released earlier this year, calling the federal investigation a farce.
We have been self-correcting, self-identifying, self-correcting agency. So I think it's a work in progress, but I think the department itself is moving in the right direction.
Interim Chief Michael Sullivan says the incidents highlighted in the report represent a very small percentage. They're in the process of reviewing the findings.
You don't get better unless you look at criticism that we have. And, you know, this report is very critical of our police department.
As for Smith, he hopes the release of the report represents a fresh start, ultimately bringing the community closer together.
This is a great opportunity for Chief Sullivan and the mayor and the city council, and it's my hope that they take full advantage of it.
All right, Bianca, so now that the report is out and city leaders are starting to go through it and city lawyers will start looking through this, what happens then?
Mark, it is no secret federal officials want a consent decree, a legally binding performance plan, while police leaders are categorically opposed to that. The union president said today that would crush morale in a department that's already hundreds of officers short. The DOJ acknowledges the police department has been making changes and improvements on their own, but they say the reality is it's just not enough, so only time will tell what will happen next, Mark.
All right, Bianca Bono reporting for us. Bianca, thanks. 12 News will have continuing coverage of the DOJ report both on air and online.